I think the Elden Ring DLC Shadow of the Erdtree will be good, maybe even great. I actually think it might even snag some awards, and I outlined all of my thoughts about this in my latest video. This is the live discussion, so that's why this video is a little bit longer. If you want to check out my usually like 10 to 13 minute videos on the various topics, you can watch those first, and then you can come here. In the live video, you know, I typically just talk to the audience. Now, in that video, I walked through the pre-release anticipation, the initial problems, but the overall praise and reception of Elden Ring, and then the various game awards that it won. And that kind of sets the stage for what I feel is kind of a daunting task for the DLC. Now, after that, I go through what you might need to do to prepare, if there will be more DLC or if there will be a sequel. So be sure to check out that video, all the details there, all the sort of breakdown of the history of the game leading up to this sort of 2-year long-awaited DLC, because in that video, I tell you what I think, and now it's time to hear what you think. So, live audience, thank you guys so much for being here. And I have to thank the people that were gifting during the premiere. Mike on the mic kicked things off. Han shot first, and so did you. And P-Dub H-Town gifted as well. And I believe was Lone Wolf the other one. I was trying to pay attention to that and also get everything ready for the live stream. And then in this stream, we've had 6 from Rissick coming in really big. So we already have 9 members on the day, and we are setting our sights on hitting 100 members today. If you hit 100 members today, I have to play a rage game tonight for the members, and those members only streams are available to everybody now, all gifted members, paying members, and the like. So be sure to help us out. A little bit of a different format on Fridays. I had been starting later, so the turnout on the premiere was light, and the turnout right now is light. It's probably because people are like, you're usually late on Fridays. We're going to try to have Fridays sort of match the format of the week, where the premiere goes live at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and then I follow up that premiere with a live stream. So we might have to kind of put this video that I just uploaded and this stream on our backs, right? You might have to circle back later if you missed the upload. Give it some love, watch it, leave a comment. We're going to have to put this stream on our back, okay? This is not typically what we're accustomed to on a Friday, so it might be confusing to people. I will also be doing a stream with 30 and Still Gaming about what's the future of Fallout. We'll be breaking down some of my thoughts and coverage just this week about Fallout 5, and then as well as maybe there's other projects, you know, what's going to happen with those, and then the resurgence of 76 and Fallout 4 and the TV show. Should be a very good show, just thinking through the future of the Fallout franchise. But this video and this discussion, it was you who gifted. Thank you so much, Ryan Hayer, for gifting. It wasn't Lone Wolf. Sorry. I think that was yesterday. Lone Wolf was doing some gifting here today. And Kicking It with Timmy B gifts a member and rounds things out very nicely, very early in the stream. Already 10 gifted members. And as you guys pile in, smash that like button. If you pile in and hit like right away, and we kind of give this stream a kick in the rear, it'll really kick things into high gear. We'll get more people in here from YouTube, but also from the sub base, all those great members and subscribers that we like to discuss things with. And we appreciate you guys supporting the channel throughout the week. We've had really good results from the new format. You guys have responded pretty positively, and it's a huge help. If you love the live streams, one of the greatest things you can do every day is just pile in that premiere. I know it's not live, but it kind of is because we're in the chat talking. I'm trying to be in the chat talking. Pile into those videos, and it really serves the live stream because it kind of spins everything up. So thank you, everybody who's been doing that. I see you in the chat. I see you contributing, and it means a lot. And Siege Master gifts a 5-bomb and says, all right, if you want this stream to get a little shot in the arm, I'll give it one. And 15 out of 25, setting up a 10-bomb dunker. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. Eugene says, I wasn't going to get this immediately, but hearing it's more linear and contained has me thinking I might. And another 5-bomb comes in from Ryan Hayer. You guys are just going to tag team this right now. It's going to be a 5-bomb gifted train. Again, if we hit 100 members today, I will play a rage game tonight. I'll let the VIPs maybe pick that. We'll do a VIP stream this afternoon, and they could throw out some suggestions on a good rage game for this evening when I do my stream, that Friday night stream with Madam. I just have to tweak my noties and routine a little bit. Yeah, if you guys aren't getting the notifications for the premieres, just toggle notifications off and back on again, and then just show up to the channel every day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and it'll sort of train YouTube to notify you, because up to now, you've primarily been probably engaging with my live content, and YouTube doesn't think to send you notifications for the uploads. And another 5 comes in from Jordan Lanham, and there it is, the first 25. I already owe you guys 5 members, off to a killer start, man. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to gift the 5 members that I owe, but Terminal Stupidity is going to beat me to it, and he takes us to 30 members on the day. That's Agents of Chaos right there, pushing past the goal and pushing us to the other one, setting up the 20 bomb dunker all the way to 50. We'll see if anybody takes the bait. We have not had a 20 bomb slam home in a couple of days. Actually, it was last week, I think. We haven't had one this week. At least I don't think so. We'll see if anybody takes the bait from Terminal Stupidity. Eugene says, I also need to know if every time I want to play it, if I have to get all the way to Mohg and Radahn again. Right, like once you get access one time, Eugene, is that like, oh, you get to go in, or every play session, every character, do I have to go beat Radahn and Mohg? I think that's a fair question. Define rage game. So rage games would be like Jump King, Getting Over It, games that are designed to frustrate, you right? Derek with 21 months of membership. Here's the thing, Lono. I don't give a single crap about this game, but I'm excited for y'all. I hope you love it. Thank you so much. Making it hard for me to censor your resub message when there's a litany of swearing there, but I appreciate it. Making my job difficult this morning. Like, let's super chat and re-up our members and make Lono have to family friendly, or I'm sorry, safe for work, our comments. And thank you guys so much. Make sure you're smashing that like button. You might be accustomed, right? That's 21 months, right? Sorry. That's 21 month. You guys might be accustomed to a later start on Friday. So if you're like, yo, what's going on? Stream's a little bit earlier on Friday. We're going to try and have Friday match the rest of the week with a 9:30 a.m. Eastern upload, that premiere, and then going live. And I didn't plug in. Give me 2 seconds to plug in. My computer's not plugged into the Ethernet. 1 second. I need to get that Wi-Fi, that new Wi-Fi 6 or whatever it is mesh. I need to get that so that I don't have to keep doing this. We have a better router for the PlayStation Portal, and I use that, but it has less ports on it. So I've been having to like swap ports with my PlayStations and my PC, because my wife and I have been playing Gunfire Reborn. Ashton with 32 months. A hotter take I have not seen. I can't believe what's on my screen. Well, just for the sake of explaining like what we do, we like to create content that says, hey, we think this will be good, right? I know this is not a hot take, right? Saying Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree will be good. But we do. We like to have videos that say, hey, we think this game, this DLC, this thing that's coming will be good. And we obviously got Helldivers right. And I don't think we didn't get Justice League right. I still think the core game was good, but it's a bad live service game. It would have probably been better as just a single player or even multiplayer co-op game. But yeah, obviously this prediction is is one of the safer predictions that we've made. Dan comes in with 33 months and a VIP plus. Thank you so much, Dan. I dig the consistency. Yeah, we're hoping that will serve you guys to be like Monday through Friday. We get an upload at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and then we get live shows after. And the week is kind of bookended. Obviously, on Monday we do that, but then after the live show, I do a show with Kirk. And then on Fridays, we're going to start doing that, and then I do the show with 30 and Still Gaming. So a lot of content with you, a lot of things for you guys to engage with and support, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Keep smashing that like button, though. This is we're not seeing what we want to see, because everybody's probably confused, and that's normal when you make a change. So we can make that change a little less painful. Let's get those first 100 likes. You guys are already gifted members. Thank you so much. All those things help, and I appreciate that. There's already comments on the video. This guy says, "Why avoid Mohg? Both versions are very easy to beat." Frank Johnson. I didn't know about him. And then I saw videos and got scared. Like, I actually did not know about Mohg because he is an optional boss. And I remember people telling me, oh, you need to go fight Mohg. You need to go fight Mohg. And everybody was saying, like, how much Mohg was going to make me rage. And then I watched a couple videos and I was like, I have no desire to fight that boss. Like, it's everything that I disliked about boss design in the second half of Elden Ring. The second half of Elden Ring, in my opinion, is the weakest part of the game. And I know there's plenty of people who don't agree with me on this. I think the front half, this is always the dilemma that you may have seen and have dealt with respect to, let's say, sequels, right? Let's use sequels as an example. So if the first game is killer and unbelievable and award-winning, well, the second game can sometimes struggle beneath that shadow. Right, the shadow of the first game is just too unbelievably strong, and it can make it really, really difficult on the second game. I feel like that's kind of like what happens in Elden Ring. Like, the front half of the game, to me, is open world perfection. I mean, it's so brilliantly designed. The music, the art style, the density of the map. It's to me, it's a masterpiece. And then as soon as you get to the fire giant, from my opinion, again, from that point on, I feel like the quality goes down. It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't feel the same. It honestly feels like a different game. It feels like a different approach to boss design. It feels like a different approach to difficulty. And that's why I think when you hit it out of the park so incredibly well in the first half, it makes the second half kind of, in my opinion, it sort of is beneath that shadow. It's like, nah, this isn't as good as the first half, right? And I know there are people that don't agree with me on this, and that's fine. I think it deserved the awards that it got. I think it deserves the praise and adulation and the review scores. I have no problem with any of that. But that's just how I felt since the beginning. Well, I'm sorry, not since the beginning. Since my first playthrough, I've always felt that the first half is just immaculate. It really is. And then the second half, it's like I don't really understand why they decided you're not OP in the second half. I didn't feel OP in the first half. I mean, I definitely didn't over level, if that's the question that you're asking. I relied on Tiche in the second half. I got so annoyed with area of effect and what I felt like were kind of overly spammy fights. I just started using Tiche. It was like, I don't even want to fight this enemy. I don't even want to fight this boss. I just got kind of irritated. Something ruffled my feathers, and I couldn't get back on my footing. I couldn't get back into a rhythm with the game. I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was rushing. I don't know if there were external pressures for me to feel like I had to go very quickly or something, and that might have been an issue. I remember feeling that with Sekiro, that like I was trying to rush through Sekiro to get ready for Elden Ring, and I kind of look back and kind of kick myself because I really feel like I didn't really see Sekiro for the brilliance that it was until the end, and then it was too late. It's like, well, I'm done, and now we've got to get ready for Elden Ring. It's just the fire giant you didn't like, or also don't like crumbling Farum Azula, Malekith. Yeah, Malekith annoyed me. I got tired of fighting dragons, if I'm gonna be honest. I feel like dragons were unenjoyable to fight because of the nature of the camera. I think the first dragon fight is, again, it's a masterpiece. It's immaculate. It's cinematically impactful. It's wonderful. And then when you fight them in the latter half, I just start to get annoyed by them. Now, I do love the one dragon fight where you like lay down and then you teleport into the room. What's that big dragon fight that a lot of people don't like that I actually loved? I loved that fight. I thought that the setting, that might be one of the best setups and settings for a fight. Drumpy Koala does a 5-bomb and takes us to 35 members on the day. Thank you so much, Drumpy Koala. We are trying to hit 100 members today, and if you do, I will play a rage game tonight. No, I never played Dark Souls 1. Yeah, Placidusax, if that's how you say it. Placidusax, I thought that fight was awesome. I loved it. And everybody was like, oh, I hate this fight. I absolutely thought it was fantastic. I think my biggest regret for Elden Ring was not fighting Melania, however you say her name, not fighting Mel by myself. I wanted to go fight her sword and board, no summons, and just get it and just figure it out. But again, by the time I got to her, I was just kind of like, yeah, I don't really feel like dealing with this. And I just let TJ fight her. And I regret that. I wish I wouldn't have done that. A single comes in from Joker Quinn, and then a 5-bomb comes in from Alex and takes us to 41 members on the day. So close to 50 already. I've already gifted the 5 that I owe you guys. Thank you so much. There's the first 100 likes on the video, guys. Thank you so much. And make sure, if you haven't already, make sure and watch the premiere. Leave a comment, leave a like, help that video out. We tried something new today, and that's always a little bit dangerous. And you guys can help that video out. If you check it out later, you watch it and leave a comment, I greatly appreciate that. We're trying to give you more content, and in doing so, we did something on a Friday we haven't done in a while, which is we're earlier than we typically are on Fridays, and I want to continue to do that. I love the rhythm that we have right now. Every day we put that upload up there. It's a premiere. It's my monologue. Creature does a lot of great work with the editing and putting in all the screenshots of the research that we've done and the articles, so be sure to check that out later if you haven't already. She was the only boss I truly got stuck on. You could play another Crab's Treasure tonight. Oh, yeah, that could be a really good idea. I think people would like to see that, yeah. I'm playing that too, dropped on Game Pass. I wouldn't call it a rage game. Yeah, but people are interested, and it's hard, and, you know, I'll have had a few drinks by then, so rage will be easy. It'll be quick at hand. Summons ruin the game, honestly, says Kirk. Same with Liza P. You probably inadvertently love Sekiro the most, not only because of the combat, because you had to rely on only yourself. I actually think that's well stated, Kirk. I think that's right on the money. Now, that might be ego and pride, but that also is my personality. You know, Creature will tell you I'm very much a lone gunman. I very much am a lone wolf, you know. And I play well with others, but I actually prefer to do things on my own. And I think that nets out in the gameplay. Like, if I get annoyed with the fight, but I got to keep trying to figure it out, there's this moment where the emotion clouds your brain, but then the emotion subsides, and you're just in the lane of determination. And once I'm in the lane of determination, then I start to see things. I'm like, oh, I understand that attack telegraph now. I understand that. Oh, when they do this, I should do this. Like, I think that's what Sekiro did, is it forced me to say that I must figure this out or I'm not getting through it. Alex with the 10 bomb says, beat every boss in the game up to the Elden Beast and got frustrated and gave up. You didn't finish the final boss. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat tip, Alex, and thank you guys so much for all the gifted members already today. Oh, I forgot to drag the coffee into the frame. Thank you so much for everybody who's ordered the coffee this week and supported us in that way as well. Lone Wolf is Lono's alt account confirmed. No, that's not true. That's not true. But yeah, I am very much a lone wolf, though. I am. Very much so. And I think that's why I love Sekiro. It's just me and my blade, and that's it. I didn't even use shinobi arts. I was just always just me and my blade. Gank says, summons don't ruin the game. You don't have to use them. I used summons my first playthrough, both maxed out Mimic and Teach-A. It was fine. My second playthrough was no summons. It was just as good. Charles Freeman says, who's gifting subs without me? I don't know. I don't know, Charles. Are you coming to bring some more heat today? Is that the plan? Charles brought the heat last week, and I joined him. We both were dropping 50 bombs on the channel. I think maybe Kirk is stating it rather strongly that summons ruins the game. I think it weakens the potency of what you can experience. Right? Now, you might say, oh, but I had a great time. I had a great time. Yeah, I do. I do think you can have a good time. But I think what ends up happening is I did it many times with the fight. I would go in. If I died and I felt like it was cheap or I was annoyed, I would just run back in and pull out TJ. I'm like, I'm just pulling out TJ. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. I'm self-reflecting and saying, I wish I had not have done that. I think I robbed myself of a better experience, and when I went back through to do the no summons run, we were seeing such a decline in support for gameplay. We were like, we've been in this game for too long, we have to stop. right? Like as a variety channel. Charles Freeman comes in with a 20 bomb and takes us to 61. He says, who's in here trying to steal the glory? He's like, I'm going to drop a bomb on the chat, and he does. And he takes us past 50. And I now owe you another 5. Thank you so much, Charles Freeman. Making me shoutcast. Thank you, Charles. Boom, some bloke just gifted. That's right. Can you play Helldivers with Madam? Yeah, we played Helldivers from time to time. Right now we're really hooked on Gunfire Reborn. So we've kind of taken a break from Helldivers. And that's, you know, we just go through, you know, phases like that. I think Gunfire is more accessible to her. I think, you know, Helldivers, it just got a little, she was like, what? I don't understand. It wasn't that she didn't enjoy it. It was just always kind of the same thing. Helldivers level 9 tonight? No. I mean, if that's what you guys want, I was thinking the crab game might be pretty fun because it's new. If you guys want Helldivers level 9 tonight with Madam, I'm going to need that's a stretch goal. I'm going to be real with y'all. That's a stretch goal. That's like, what should that goal be? We needed 100 for the Rage game. If you want Helldivers level 9, I'm thinking you almost have to double that. Yeah, that's a 200. I think that's a stretch goal. I don't really want to do that. You're going to have to twist my arm, dude. Plays it on baby mode. I mean, baby mode's fun, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? You and all of Steam taking a break. Yeah, I don't have time to cover that this morning, but I think I don't agree with the decision. People, the warning was there all. Shut up. That is the Rage game. Yeah, but I don't want to. That's a stretch goal, dude. I don't want to do Helldivers level 9. Do you have an access to level 9? I think so. Don't you just toggle over to it? I don't know if you have to do anything to earn it. I thought you just toggled over to it. I mean, oh yeah, does your character have to be a certain level? I don't know. I've never tried. Crab game is a Souls game that'll make for a more fun show to watch. That's what I'm thinking. I think that'll be more fun than watching us try to play Helldivers. I don't think you really need summons. It's just when people don't want to learn the boss, they just decide, I will outdamage the boss. Yeah, it's a total brute force, Timothy. It's a total brute force. When you basically say, rather than learning the attack telegraphs and when to dodge and when to attack and when to run away, you just pull out Tiche. You know what I mean? I don't want to figure this out. And I self-reflect on things I do in life, and I think everybody should. And I looked back and I thought to myself, I wish that I wish I wouldn't have done that. You know? I really wish I would have gone the distance with it. Let's look at some comments on the video here. Dwight Adams says, great content. Thank you. Skeg from Craigslist says, really going out on a limb here. I know, right? Like, I'm really going out on a limb here saying that it'll be good. It'll be good. Mile High says, I would really like to play this game, but I'm not very good at difficult games. I get frustrated and walk away. It's so intriguing, though. You can definitely make it easier with certain things, right? You definitely can make Elden Ring easier with certain things and certain builds. You really, really can. I don't think you have to just absolutely beat your head against the wall and get frustrated. There are ways to smooth out those rough edges and those challenges. You need to complete an operation, the previous difficulty to unlock the next one. Oh, so you have to work your way up to level 9. Okay, there you go. Kirk is saying Mohg for 300. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want me to fight Mohg tonight, that's a stretch goal if I've ever frickin' seen one. I don't want to stream that, dude, but, you know, if you guys bring the heat, I kind of agree with Kirk. That's not a bad stretch goal. Listen, let's just hit 100. I'll play the crab game. If you guys want to go beyond 100 members, that's on you. I'm not going to push that because I secretly don't. Yeah, I'm not going to push that. I don't want to do that tonight. I would much rather just play that crab game with you guys. If you fight Mohg tonight, I'll buy you beer right now. No. It's not that simple, Sven. Buying me a 6-pack of something, dude. I'm not a cheap date, okay? I'm a diva. I'm a bit of a diva. You guys want to make me go do the dance with Mohg? It's going to cost more than a little pack of beer, okay? Yo, what's good, JG from Space? How are you? Happy early May the 4th to all who celebrate. That's right. Who has the best guide for this game? Is it Fighting Cowboy? I'm sure Cowboy's got some great guides. Fextra Life probably has really good guides. You know, I didn't use guides, so I couldn't tell you. But I just kind of played through the game. Just on second thought, I don't wanna. Listen, it's up to you, right? We tried getting over it. I didn't like it. I didn't like getting over it. It was frustrating. It's supposed to be, but yeah. I still remember that comment that made you reflect. If you could have summoned Tiche for Ishin, you would have. Oh, I would have. Yep. And it would have completely robbed me of what I consider to be one of the greatest video game experiences of my life. Do you know what I'm saying? That truly is one of the greatest. Like, my first run through of Hellblade, beating Ishin after 5 hours of blood, sweat, and tears. I actually think Ishin might be the greatest experience. It might be number one. It was just there was so much behind it. There was so much meaning in enduring and pressing through and beating and doing it. What was it like the day we had changed the name of the channel to Reforge Gaming? Like, yeah. I may pick up Elden Ring and the DLC this weekend. I haven't played the game yet and just found out saving $100 this week with insurance is paying something for a change. There you go. There you go. You just saved money by switching to Geico, so now you can play Elden Ring. That's a great commercial. Why don't you want to stream the Mohg fight? I think you would be awesome. It would be awesome to watch you take it on and overcome it. Well, a Friday night stream is a terrible environment for me to do that because if I have a couple of drinks, I'm going to be slow and grumpy. That's a terrible combination for a FromSoft game, right? Your reflexes slow down. You know, I'm a lightweight, so I have 2 beers and I'm stuttering, like not stuttering, but like I'm stumbling a little bit in games, right? So that's not a great environment. I also don't like streaming content where I, get really angry. Now, obviously, Friday nights, it's a little bit more, jovial and fun. So we'll see. You guys haven't even hit 100 yet. You guys are getting ahead of yourselves, okay? Kirk threw down the gauntlet. He says if you guys want him to fight Mohg, hit 300. So Kirk called it. He called it. You guys want to call your shots, go ahead. But you haven't even hit 100 yet, right? Gang says, I created a chat in the Discord where I posted Fighting Cowboy's 100% complete guide for Elden Ring for anyone that wants to play for the first time and wants to go for their platinum. As for you, Lono, if you want help with Mohg, just enable co-op play, make a password so it's not public, and fight him with 1 or 2 other players. Well, I mean, I think people want to see me fight Mohg, not have 2 people come in and carry me, right? I've played plenty of content in the backpack of the audience. I don't think people want to see that, right? I don't think Lono will struggle with Mohg. I've seen him play. He's apprehensive, but it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, I've certainly created, I think, an idea that like I struggle or I'm bad at these games. I mean, every boss in Sekiro was beat for me in roughly under an hour, and then Ishin was the exception. It was a 5-hour ordeal. I actually think in the grand scheme of people running through Sekiro, especially since I didn't use Shinobi arts, I think I stand pretty tall, okay? Like, I'm not an expert, but, like, I'm also not some scrub, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people took way longer to beat the bosses that I beat in roughly most of the time in under an hour? Like, I'm not a scrub, okay? I don't have the endurance and the patience. It's more of a personal thing than a lack of skill set. Like, it's not like I don't have the skills. It's not like I'm bad. Like, oh yeah, get good. It's like, no, it's that I am lacking in patience and endurance. It's a personal thing at that point. I just get irritable and I'm like, I don't want to do this, So, it's the nature of those games. There is an undercurrent of difficulty. There is an undercurrent of challenge where you are playing against yourself. It's kind of like golf. You can acquire the skills necessary to play a good game of golf, but if a couple of bad hits or some rough wind puts you in a sour mood, it ain't gonna matter. You're gonna suck the rest of the day. You're gonna play worse, right? You're competing against yourself. You're at war with the inside at that point. Lono did beat Stinky Mohg, so he should be fine. It'll just be Neil and Phase 2. That'll be new for him. I refuse to take off Rivers of Blood. Yeah, I mean, that's probably one way to put him in the dirt, you know? That's one way to do it. Guys, make sure you're smashing the like button. A little bit of a different format, but more of you are starting to pile in the stream. Usually Fridays we've been starting late, but we put up our premiere at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, which we've been doing all week, and now we're in the live stream talking Elden Ring. We're talking FromSoft games. Let us know what's your favorite FromSoft game. What do you think of my thoughts on Elden Ring, the DLC? What do you think my thoughts about the back half of Elden Ring isn't quite as strong as the first, and we are working on a member goal. But if you can't contribute to the member goal, that's totally fine. Smash that like button. Let's set our sights on 200 likes. Let's see it. I know you guys can do it. Let's see those 200 likes. Old Soul with 27 months on a VIP says, happy Friday, everyone. Good to see you, Old Soul. It took me 2 days to beat the final boss in Sekiro. That's why you need to have a beer, a hole. Oh, yeah, in golf. That sounds like a great time. Everyone prepare your emotes tonight. Yeah. Well, if I play the crab game, I don't know. I don't know if I would rage out about that. I mean, that one probably takes a while to get too difficult. I mean, I've played Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Elden Ring. I've played Jedi Fallen Order on the second to hardest difficulty, and yeah, I didn't find the boss challenge in Stellar Blade to be all that difficult. Like, those kind of games don't really put me back on my heels too easily, especially in the early game. It usually takes a while for a game like that to really ramp up. Mike says, it's just a cool katana with nice blood visual flair. Even if they did nerf it into the ground, Mohg unfortunately has a big staff that inflicts AoE bleed effects. Yeah, so he's going to trigger me for sure. I hate that kind of stuff. I'm not a fan at all. He's the definition of unmitigatable damage unless you have the tear, or the tear. Is it the tear or the tear? Which one? Yeah, I've seen that he has unmitigated damage. Like, he's got stuff that you can't stop unless, of course, you go get that, whatever that thing is. Crowded House says, I haven't finished Elden Ring yet. I'm in the Snow Mountain area and haven't found Mohg's Palace. Check out the game Welcome to Paradise PS5. It's fun co-op. Welcome to Paradise? What do you do in that game? And a single gifted comes in from Stonespire, and he says, come on, you guys are trying to talk about a Mohg fight. He's like, we haven't even hit the 100 goal yet. Thank you so much, Stonespire, for taking us to 62 members on the day. Even with drinks, you won't have an issue. I'm more in for the you have crabs joke. Stonespire gifts another one and takes us to 63. All right, guys, if Stonespire keeps dropping singles, somebody help this man out and prepare a 10-bomb dunker. Come on, see, there he goes. He's doing it. Somebody get ready. Somebody help this man out. He is so clutch with these setups, with these layups. He's the man. He is the man. He's going to do 4 in a row. Somebody get ready, waiting in the wings for this guy. Look at the loyalty. Look at the just the commitment to what we do here. Thank you so much, Stonespire, taking us a 65 out of 75. Thank you so much, Stonespire. I kind of agree, says Cool Spoon, but I loved Elden Ring all the way through. I do wish the game had scaling enemies, because just from exploring, I ended up overpowered. I didn't grind for levels. I just explored every inch of the map, and that caused me to be over-leveled. Yeah, I mean, that's always the dilemma with an open world game. Even, actually, not even really an open world game. Even a game with side quests, that can be an issue, right? That can be an issue, because it's like, I remember in Borderlands 3 that was an issue. That was an issue in Borderlands 2. Like, you do some side quests, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, every mission I'm accepting is me. Then Alex comes in with a 10-bomb, and he caps it off. He says, I've got you, Stonespire, and he takes us to 75. Thank you so much, Alex. I now owe you guys 5 more, and I'm going to do it. We're going to take this all the way. Bury your nose. Bury your sad. That was the best clip. Wait, what was the best clip? Which one? Oh, are we talking about the Titanite shard? Is that one gone? Or which are you talking about another one? I know I said it yesterday, but man, I'm loving the Have a Nice Death. The art style's phenomenal. Nice little rogue. Yeah, it's a fun little game. I remember enjoying it when I played it. Oh, Titanite's gone? Oh, that's freaking tragic. That is tragic. You just found a Titanite shard. I know. That friggin' crap had me so triggered. It's like, get off the screen. You know how to spend the runes on levels, though. Just watch them stack. That's why, like Sekiro, I never seemed to overlevel. Yeah, you can't. You can't overlevel in Sekiro. It's not possible. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people, you know, prefer it, or at least they praise it for that aspect. They like that that's how it's set up, you know. And I can see why. I beat it and didn't use Shinobi Arts, and I didn't overlevel, and, you know, that's the way it goes. One of the reasons I like Oblivion more than Skyrim is because the enemies scale. I'm mad at myself that I gave up on Death's Door. I must return one day. I really liked Death's Door. I had a blast with it. I don't like they expect you to remember things that are extremely vague and tenuous. So I did on a couple of things. I was like, wait, what the frick am I supposed to do with this? Like, if you take like a couple of days and stop playing and come back, it's almost like they expect you to beat that game in like one sitting, which isn't really possible. So I had to use a guide a couple of times. I'm like, wait, where do I go now? Like, never a big fan of that. Other than that, I didn't really have any problems with that game. I thought the combat was dope, art style was dope, really, really liked it. Just in case you need some, what is this, Hilly? Oh, Titanite shard locations. Yeah, there you go. Doing side content before main content quests, and you overlevel most of the time. That's why it would be really cool if game devs would figure out a way to, like, let me check a box that just says, well, make all of the missions, enemies, and drops scale to me. If you're okay with that, if you're like, hey, I did a bunch of side leveling stuff, or I'm sorry, side quest stuff, and now I'm level 20, and you just go into the menu and say, hey, can you just scale everything to me? I don't know why they don't let you do that in games. Borderlands literally does that once you roll the game over into your second playthrough. So it's like, why don't you just give me that as a checkbox during my first playthrough? It doesn't make any sense. You want to see a complete playthrough of OG Mario? Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm good at platformers, but I don't know. That's a tough run. If you're not speed running and you're not taking the shortcuts, what's the average clear time of that game? That's a long sit down. And I don't know if I would enjoy that very much. If you don't want to be over leveled, switch the weapon to a less upgraded one or use a new type of weapon, says Elsewhere Broadcast. Always worked for me, especially in Elden Ring. Use like 10 weapons on the first run. I love the idea of constantly switching your weapons. I do. I like that. But I also like, yeah, it just depends. Rage game tonight, Lion King. We're going to do the crab game. We're going to do the crab game tonight if you guys hit 100 members. We're currently 25 members away from it. Now, there is a stretch goal. Kirk threw out the idea that, like, if you guys hit 300, I'll play Mohg tonight, and I don't want to do that. So I'm happy. Let's hit 100 and just do the crab game. I'll be happy with that. That'll be fun. If you're a member or a gifted member, make sure and come in tonight. If you're not a member, consider becoming a member. If you've been continually getting gifted members, consider upgrading and picking up your own membership. It makes room for more people. And a 5 comes in from I'm the one who knocks and takes us past. That is an agent of chaos pushing us past the goal. And now that's a 20 bomb layup. That's a 20 bomb setup away from the goal. We'll see if anybody steals the glory. The crab game is a rage game. I mean, it's a Souls game. Isn't that ragey enough? You know? I don't know. Does it have to be a game that's literally designed in a terrible way like Jump King or something? I don't know. I thought the Stretch Divers was on Hell difficulty. Well, we said 200 for Hell Divers at Hell difficulty, but the problem with that is, Creature, I have to beat each of the levels. I have to do a Mission 6, a Mission 7, and a Mission 8, which I guess we could do in VIP, but that was only for 200. So I guess if they hit 200, we could attempt to do that this afternoon, but then if they hit 300, it's Mohg. He just doesn't want to play Skull and Bones. He hasn't unlocked that. Oh, man. Yeah, it goes up. It goes up. 100 for the crab, 200 for Helldivers, and then 300 for Mohg. It's in your cord. Skull and Bones 200. No, I'm not doing that. You have to do it for the DLC access, though. Let's help Lono defeat Mohg. Yeah, I need it. I need it for the DLC. If you guys didn't know that, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC will require you to beat Mohg. This is true. And a 20 bomb comes in from Vithar. He says, "It's mine. The glory is all mine." And he takes us to 100, securing, at the very least, the crab game this evening for the Friday Night Rage game. Appreciate that so much, Vithar. Well, he certainly has put you guys on the runway. If you want to do the stretch goals, you guys are going to have to dig deep. Thank you so much, Vithar. Absolutely stellar work, my friend. That was awesome. Usually somebody comes in and bumps the line and takes the opportunity away. I now owe you guys 5 members. I'm going to do it now. If you guys are piling in and you want to talk about Elden Ring DLC, if you're excited about Shadow of the Erdtree, do me a favor. Hit subscribe so you can talk in the chat. Take a second to smash the like button, all right? We're having a slower start on Friday, and that's okay because we broke format, all right? And there's probably people that are like, what's going on? Typically, I wouldn't have started the stream for another probably 10 minutes. Usually somewhere between 10:30 and 10:45, I would start on a Friday. Fridays were usually later, and we're changing that. Agent of Chaos is Raven and takes us to 101. She says, listen, we're going to get there, and I'll start it. Thank you so much, Raven. Vithar says, my pleasure. That is so kind, seriously. They're going for Mohg. I don't know. If Lono has to battle Mohg, then I might need to be drinking as well. Oh, come on. I don't get that. So I get salty. I get frustrated. I don't get that salty. They're like, oh, pour me a drink. Lono's playing Mohg. Morpheus is fighting Neo. You know what I'm saying? Lono's fighting Mohg. Am I correct in that Mohg's Palace is a hidden optional area? I don't know about hidden. I've never done it, but it certainly is optional. Yes, that's why a lot of people don't do it. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't skip him on purpose. It was a total accident. And then people told me about him, and then I watched some videos, and I was like, Am I correct? And I already read that. Is there a date for the PlayStation show yet? No, it would be my estimation that it would be the last week of this month, maybe second to last week. You know, I saw Detective Seeds predicted the 22nd. I don't think he's correct. You know, I think he might be making an educated guess. He might be making a slightly informed guess. I don't know. Typically, PlayStation showcases are the very end of May or at the very beginning of June. So I would imagine, I'm guessing like May 30th, May 29th or May 30th. It's optional, says Eugene. Kind of hidden, but not really. Kirk's agreeing. He says semi-hidden, yes. You have to follow an NPC line. Okay. If Lono has to... Oh, I already read that. Not optional anymore. Well, I mean, it's not optional if you guys hit the goal. You guys, you're getting ahead of yourself. You got a long way to go. We've got time, okay? We started this stream a little bit earlier than we typically do. So you guys can make a run at this, okay? You've got an hour and a half before I do the show with Mike, all right? The show with Mike today is going to be about the future of Fallout, what's going on with it. Should be a good time. He's putting a ton of time in with 76, but we're mainly going to focus on, you know, the future. What are they going to do? Are they going to, you know, they're going to let somebody else build the game and everything else. So thank you guys so much for being here. It's in the same area as the giant bird you can shoot to keep it running off of a cliff. It was and still is the best soul farm in the game. So the area with Mohg is definitely worth getting to anyway. Okay. Lona preparing for Elden Ring tonight? Yeah, that's right. Just dumping a bottle of vodka into a pitcher. Good night. That might be rum. I can't tell. It is Friday. It's payday. It's possible. Well, we'll see. J-Dog says he's going to help out. He bumps the line and takes it to 102. Gifting also helps people show up. They get a little chingering. They get a little email. And they're like, hey, you got a gifted. So some of you might be coming in because you got a gifted. Listen, if you're like, I'm not interested in Elden Ring, well, just stick around and talk. Just have conversations with us. We're chilling. We're having a good time. You know, there's a lot of other things going on in the gaming world right now. I don't want to necessarily, like, cannibalize a bunch of topics that might make for good videos or talk shows, but there is a lot going on. PlayStation Showcase 2023 was on May 24th on a Wednesday. Are you sure about that? It was May 24th? I thought it was later in the month than that. Oh no, you're right. I thought it was later. May 24th. The May 31st is what I was thinking. PlayStation Showcase 2023 May. No, yeah, you're right. It was May 24th. For some reason, I thought it was later. But yeah, I mean, that makes the May 22nd guess not too bad, actually. That's not a bad guess. Second to last week. Well, second to last. It's not. It's the last full week that year. This year, it would be a little bit different. If it lands on the 22nd, there's practically one full week left after that. I found an area that had walking through a huge puddle of blood after I went down a waterfall in a casket. Am I close? It sounds like it. Cool Spoon says, I wouldn't say I'm the best Souls player, but I would say I'm good. Not really good, just pretty decent. Mohg is certainly not the hardest boss in the game, and I beat him without using the tier, and I hadn't leveled Vigor much. It took less than 10 tries. I think I got him in 5 or so I think you could do it. Just believe in yourself. I mean, I know we like to tease me about not being good at games and skill issue, but I will say, I do well in these games. I'm not an all-star. I'm not going to build a channel around watching me do, no-hit runs or whatever. That certainly isn't going to be, what I'm known for. But, I feel like I've done fairly well when I've played these games, If people want to say I'm not good, well then let's see how fast you beat the bosses in your first time in Sekiro, right? Let's see how fast you beat Ishin your first playthrough in Sekiro. Like, let's do it. Let's see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of the times people that play in secret and probably rage and froth at the mouth and get really angry, I think they get a lot of emotional affirmation out of watching a streamer rage, and then they'll be like, yeah, it's a skill issue. And it's like, oh, okay. If this is giving you satisfaction, you know what I'm saying? There's probably a deeper issue going on. When are you going on vacation? It's the middle of this month, so the 13th through the 17th. So next week is totally normal. Next week's a full week of content, but the week after, I will be gone. Where are you in Stellar Blade? I have no idea. I didn't play last night. Madam came down and didn't have a lot of stuff to do, so she came down a little bit quicker than usual. So I just booted up Gunfire Reborn and we just did a run in that. We still haven't beat that dadgum pirate ship. It's a tough fight. We keep getting to the second phase, and it's really, really hard to get away from his shots because you're not particularly fast in gunfire. So you have to perfectly time your dodges to get away from the cannon fire because he shoots them in a straight line. We keep getting killed by the second phase of the pirate ship. Always use Spirit Ash summons and upgrade them so that beating bosses would be manageable or doable. Yeah, I don't... Currently, if I boot up and try to fight Mohg, I mean, I could do it on my New Game Plus, but that would be a joke, right? I mean, I would probably murder him. I killed Radon in 4 seconds. It was a joke. And then I did a new fresh run. My no summons run, my sword and shield run, I've got a really good build, and I felt like I was kind of taking enemies to task. But I didn't get past the Fire Giant. Do I have to get past the Fire Giant to get him? Because we may end up having to boot up my New Game Plus character. How long to beat Stellar Blade? I think if you straight line it, it's 25 hours. I'm well beyond that at this point. You can cheese Mohg with poison arrows from outside of the arena. Isn't it what you always doing according to your wife? Yeah. According to my wife, I always cheese games. That's right. Mimic tier for Mohg. Mohg on New Game Plus might still be a challenge. Dude, I don't know. I was so strong, it wasn't even fun. It wasn't even fun. I killed Radon so fast. I was like, dude, I'm good. This isn't fun. This is a joke. Ace Tech with a $5 super chat tip says, holding it down in Louisville, you and Madam should play the PS5 game Welcome to Paradise. It's fun, over-the-top co-op zombie game. Somebody else just said that. Welcome to Paradise. And are you spelling it wrong? Paradise? PS5 gameplay. All right, Welcome to Paradise, Part 1, PlayStation 5, and let's get a peek here. Let's see here. We got a top down, kind of running with a. This guy's running with a stick. So we played a game like this called Dismantle, and we liked Dismantle for a while, but buddy, it got super grindy. I'm just skipping around in this video, and he's constantly in his inventory. Yeah, I don't think we would enjoy this. No, I don't think we would like this. We still haven't, completed, quote unquote, completed Gunfire Reborn. That I appreciate the recommendation, but I'm here to tell you that game's not, we wouldn't enjoy it. Mohg is not early at all. You have to get to the snowfields. Okay, you can reach Mohg right after waking up. Oh. You can reach Mohg without killing Radahn. Do Veil quests. Okay. Well, my no summons run, I know that I beat Radahn. So we do need to beat Mohg before Shadow of the Erdtree comes out. That is going to be, that's a requirement according to all the information that we have. So, yeah, if you guys do it, if you guys hit the stretch goal, we'll do it tonight. But you guys still got a long way to go. So it looks like tonight we will be playing the crab game. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying the stream, thanks so much. We're seeing more and more people pile in. Appreciate it. Usually it's 10:45 a.m. Eastern. This is typically when I was going live on Fridays. We had a little bit of a change today. So do me a favor and go check out that premiere. Go check out that upload. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree will be good. Make sure and give that, a like and a comment and all those things, because we kind of broke format today. So you can check out that video later. Right now, do me a favor and hit like on this video and then chime in the chat with what you plan on doing with Shadow of the Erdtree. Are you jumping in day one? What's all the things? We're talking about a lot of different things with Elden Ring. Favorite build, favorite boss, least favorite boss. I've killed Mohg, but I never have been in the snowfield, says I'm the one who knocks. Dismantle? Yeah, Dismantle was fun for a while, and we were clearing the map. It just got really grindy. It was the same thing with Lego Fortnite. It was like, yeah, this is fun. And then like your third play session, you're like, I need how many of what? Okay, we got to go do that cave again. Okay, that cave's tapped. We got to do another cave. Like, I think that they just naturally take those games, and then the progression starts to just do this. It gets choked. And then your play sessions are less satisfying. You're like, okay, well, today we did virtually nothing. We, got materials, I hope to see Ghost of Tsushima 2 at the PlayStation show. That's how they did God of War and Horizon. They released on PC and then announced a new game. Yeah, I believe that Ghost of Tsushima 2 gets announced at the showcase this year. Yes. We will probably do a prediction stream once I'm back in town. We might do one next week, depending. I don't know. That feels too early, but we'll see. Varus Quest puts you there way before you'd be ready to clear that area. Fighting Cowboy is the one that got me into Elden Ring, says Nathan Reed. I'm about 80% of the way done with his 100% walkthrough. Okay, nice. What's the game that got you guys into Souls, like Souls-style games? For me, it was Jedi Fallen Order. I false started with Sekiro. I false started with Demon Souls remake. I got to the big giant with the big giant shield in Demon Souls, and I got to Madame Butterfly in Sekiro, and both times I was like, And then I played Jedi Fallen Order, immediately replayed Jedi Fallen Order on the second to hardest difficulty, and then I remember my first Souls game ever was Dark Souls 3, and I loved it. I had some issues with some of the fights, but overall I loved it. And then I really, really liked Sekiro. I got a little bent at the end and thought, oh, we shouldn't have played this. I'm not going to be able to beat this guy. I got very, very discouraged. But after 5 hours, I was thrilled that I decided to beat it. And then obviously Elden Ring. And then I really wish I would have had time for Timesia. And then, Jedi Survivor. But the Jedi Survivor honestly felt less like Souls than the first game. It didn't feel quite as inspired. I don't know. Moral Shell was for you, Barrier. Alan says Dark Souls 1. Inksanity saying Neo. We got 3 Bloodborns in a row. Infinite, Mike, and Kevin all said Bloodborne. Vithar said I started with OG Demon Souls. Okay. Dark Souls 3. So me and Zinthos both started with the same one. Demon Souls OG, another Bloodborne, a Dark Souls 2. Wow, isn't that the one that is like the one? I feel like that's usually the least favorite amongst Souls fans. The first Armored Core game, says Ganks. Kirk says Lords of the Fallen 1. OG Demon Souls on PS3. Wow, although I was awful at it. Yo, Mike on the mic, gifts a member. He decided he wanted the Han shot first, and so did you today during the premiere, and he got it, but now he's coming back to say, come on, boys, let's keep it going. So I'm seeing a lot of people say Demon Souls, you know, some of the earliest. Liza P was so well done, best Souls-like outside of FromSoft. Yeah, the critics got that one wrong. Liza P has such a stronger score than where it landed with the critics. Mohg's Palace has a recommended level of 110. Feel bad for anyone trying to go there off rip. You started with Elden Ring, says Sorcerer, but not for me. Oh, it wasn't for you. You didn't enjoy it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I've learned to do with gaming is I just won't play something if it's not for me. I don't try to force it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not enjoying this. I just put it down, you know. I think there was a time where, you know, I wonder if some of you in the early days when you first tried out a Souls game, whether it's Demon Souls or Dark Souls 1, like I wonder if, did you keep going because you really, really wanted to and you were really, really having a good time? Or did you keep going because there was like nothing really else to play and that sort of pushed you over the hump and you started enjoying it? Like I'm always kind of curious, what kept you going in the first experience you had with the Souls game? Because once it starts to get difficult, if you don't have a palate for that fail rate yet, how does that not make you just stop playing? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, or do you just, is that just your attitude with games in general? Because I always have been curious about that. Like, you boot up a game like that, and you start to hit those walls. What makes you keep going? Like, a lot of people would just say, oh, this is lame, I don't like this, you know. I deleted Demon Souls in that first area back on the PS3. Overcoming the challenge got me addicted, okay? I did with Sekiro and I didn't really enjoy it. I wasn't ready for Demon Souls on PS3. I got recommended it and took it back a day or two later, but when I got it on PS5, I knew what I was getting into and I enjoyed it more. Oh, you stopped gaming, says Crowded House, but Dark Souls brought you back. Really? Gang says, I like getting my teeth kicked in and the feeling of finally beating the boss area. How do you develop that palette, though? Because I don't know. I mean, I guess if you played a lot of the old Nintendo games to completion, I started gravitating towards Nintendo games that were a little bit more accessible, like, you know, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Like, I don't remember that game being insanely hard. I remember there being tough areas, but not feeling like, oh, I can't get through this. Games like Mario, it was you're going back to the beginning, you're out of lives, like the original Mario. So I wonder if it is related to like the games that you started with and pressed through, you know, Battletoads, Contra. Some of these are like just very traditionally just super challenging games. I grew up with Monhun, so hitting those bosses that were like walls was something that I'd been used to and enjoyed. Eugene says, my first was Sekiro. It took me longer because of that. I had to learn the game type, and it being the most difficult, I wanted to win. Competitive spirit, right. I don't personally get any enjoyment from purposely difficult games. I understand the appeal, but not for me, says JG. Demon Souls was the first I played, says Suede, but Jedi Fallen Order was when it really clicked. I think the story in Jedi was the driving factor. Right, like you're almost like, I need to know what happens because I'm a Star Wars fan. What it was for me was, as soon as I could almost remember the moment in Jedi Fallen Order, I was coming out of that dark area and you're going up it's a slightly narrow cliffside. What's good, Zubair? It's this slightly narrow cliffside and there's a ram that attacks you. And I remember he beat the tar out of me. Like I didn't take it seriously. Like I didn't take it serious. And I got walloped. And I remember thinking to myself, there's something really appealing about every fight mattering to a certain degree. Like Jedi Fallen Order kind of ruined button mashers, like open world or side scroller button mashers. Jedi Fallen Order kind of ruined those games for me, because it was like, even a ram on a hillside, even a bug crawling out of the ground can make light work of you. They can really bust you up if you're not paying attention and you're not playing well. And I think that's why I now want to play games that are more like a Rise of the Ronin or a Stellar Blade, because every fight matters. There isn't this, oh, here comes an enemy, slash, dead, slash, dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's more of a thoughtfulness to the combat. I remember that moment and thinking to myself, every fight matters in Jedi Fallen Order. And I remember thinking that was really appealing. I think what it was is when I accepted the fact that these games were ridiculously hard, I knew to be a bit more cautious and approach it differently than running headstrong in, swinging my sword. Wade says, frick that ram. I vividly remember that as well. He blindsided me and I ragdolled over the edge so many times. Jaggy says, I quit Sekiro when I met that ogre and realized some of his hitboxes were ridiculous. Well, the guy that slams, like, he's got like the wood. Doesn't he have like a wood thing around his neck? Is that what you're talking about? Momo says, for Sekiro, it took me 9 times to beat Genichiro. I kept going since I was making progress in real time. Being able to deflect his 3-bow attack was satisfying. Yeah, I remember in the Ishin fight, all of a sudden, I'm telling you, there's a magical moment where you finesse one part of the fight, and that's all you need to do. I believe that. I believe there's a recipe here. There's a psychological recipe where if you can transcend one rough spot in the fight, something that used to kill you, and you go in, you're like, I know what you're going to do, and you're like, ping, 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 and you get the timing down. Then, at that point, I believe you transition from sort of trial and error, you're more in your emotions. I believe you get into what I call the trenches. Now you're in the trenches of the fight. You're analyzing everything he's doing. You're obviously going to get irritated still and have those moments where you feel like that wasn't fair or whatever. But I'm telling you, there's always that moment where something that was getting you, something that was killing you, you finesse it. You see through the fog and you're like, oh, I've got you now. And even though there's more things that are going to start to bust you up and then you have to start finessing those, it's almost like you have the decoder ring for the fight now. You're like, nope, I've got you. Now I know how to break down your moves. Now I'm going to figure out what to do next. The big frog boss on the early planet was another turning point. Got wiped by him multiple times, but then came back later and it was a good battle. I actually swayed. I remember in Jedi Fallen Order, I made myself beat the frog when I first found him. And chat was like, why are you doing this? Just come back later. I said, no. If I beat him now, it'll set a tone for the rest of the playthrough. I'll know that I can beat this game. I'll know that I've got what it takes. And I forced myself to fight that frickin' frog. And when I beat him, I just felt so good. I was like, this game is mine. I'm gonna rip this game a new one. And I remember when I upped the difficulty, it was just so exciting to go back, knowing that like, oh, it's gonna be harder now. It was so fun. You remember watching that? Yeah, because people were like, why are you doing this? Just come back later. And I was like, no. I was like, I know myself. I know my brain. If I beat this stinking frog right now, it'll set a tone for the rest of the game. The first Rancor fight in Jedi Survivor is kind of like that. The first Rancor fight is, boy, he busts you up. Nobody with 25 months and a member plus. Can't wait for the DLC. Gonna be playing nothing but it. Yo, thank you so much. More and more people pile into the stream. Make sure and smash that like button. We need 10 more likes for 200 likes. You guys hit the goal. We were trying to get 100 members, so we will be playing that Crab Souls game tonight. See if you can get me to rage. There are some stretch goals. 200, and I got to go into the hardest Helldivers difficulty, which means we'll have to play this afternoon and unlock it. But 300 is the stretch goal for Mohg, if you want to make me fight Mohg in Elden Ring tonight. So you From boys could dig deep and make a dream come true for yourselves. But it looks like it's probably going to be the crab game, which I'm fine with. I would prefer that. In Hollow Knight, I tried for a few days doing a few tries and days to beat Nightmare King Grim. Learning the fight and the movements and how to read the boss made the clear feel so good. You're really selling me on Jedi? Well, here's the thing, Kirk. If you go to Jedi Fallen Order and then Jedi Survivor after Stellar Blade, you are not going to like it at first. Jedi Fallen Order especially, there is a clunkiness. We need what for Elden Ring? Kirk threw down the gauntlet. People want to see me fight Mohg, and Kirk said hit 300 members and he'll fight Mohg. And I thought, that's pretty good. That's a stretch goal. Tonight's a rage game. You guys want a rage game? You better put the bat signal up and get the big boys in here to start going crazy. Because right now I'm going to play the crab game. That's what we decided on. We thought, oh, that'll be fun. You know, it's a rage game. It's a Souls game. It'll work. It'll do the job. Plus, it's a relevant game. It's a new game. It's fun to do that. Clunky, Jedi, no shot. Yes, Jedi Fallen Order is clunky. It is. 100%. It is not going to have the fluidity of Stellar Blade. Now, Stellar Blade has its own clunkiness. But yeah, the first Jedi game, oh my gosh, yes. That was one of the primary complaints about it. There are 30 areas in Elden Ring. Mohg's Palace is the 27th hardest. Well, there you go. That's a rage game if I've ever heard of one. Raven Storm says, many hands make light work. Come on. Gifts a single. Every journey starts with one step. There it is. 104 members on the day. Thank you, Raven. Fourth hardest. My mom's going to be ticked I used her PayPal. Don't get yourself in trouble, Raven. That's fine. Leave it be. Yeah, I think Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, I agree with Suede. I think they're must-plays. I think they're fantastic Star Wars stories. They have Metroidvania aspects. I think they're great. I really do. I really do think they're great. But, yeah, there's a clunkiness to Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor, it was a little bit better. But there's definitely some clunkiness. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's different. It was one of the complaints I regularly saw about Jedi Fallen Order. It feels clunky, right? It feels kind of clunky. I have to agree. I think there is a clunkiness to it. Cal feels a little slow. Jedi 1 and 2 are the perfect balance of Souls combat for me, says JG from Space. Just difficult enough to force you to think and adjust strategy, but not so hard to become frustrating. Angry Pete gifts a single member. He sets up another 20-bomb dunker. We'll see if anybody takes the bait, Pete. 105 out of 125. We'll see if anybody tag teams the member count with you, Pete. Thank you so much. Kirk the Gamer's going to go live tomorrow. Yeah, guys, I tweeted that out. If you guys want to see Kirk die a bunch, and lose, let's see what he does. Didn't Fall get a PS5 update? Oh, didn't Fallen Order get a PS5 update? Oh, I'm not sure. You should make Mohg a lower goal. You have to beat him eventually anyway. Yeah, and I'll do it off stream. Yeah, I'll do it off stream. Abe with 37 months and a VIP. Hello, will you be covering the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake rap beef? I've been waiting for your opinion on the matter. Well, as you guys know, I have a copious amount of knowledge of the rap and hip hop industry. Thank you, Rissick gifts a member and takes us to 106. This is obviously an area where I have a lot of expertise, and basically my summation of what has transpired is that Kendrick. I couldn't keep it together. I couldn't keep it together. My general summation of what has transpired is that Kendrick has bodied the man. Drake's on a canvas and doesn't even know it. That's my general impression of what's going on, In Fallen Order, you fight mostly bugs and frogs on the first planet. It's not very compelling. Just got to push through. It gets better. Yeah. It didn't start at the bottom. That's right. Decimated. He dropped a new disc this morning. He did another one. It's like that moment in a FromSoft game, right? It's like that moment in a FromSoft. Drake's like, whew, it's over. And then a choir starts singing in the background. It's like, uh-oh. There's a part 2. There's a part 2. He'll be okay. He'll be all right. I mean, he'll be all right. He's a bad bee. He'll be okay. He'll survive. Anyway, hated Fallen Order at first, but if you push through it, it gets really good. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's clunky. It's got some clunkiness to it. It's got some rough edges. I think that's I think that's fair to say. I do. After you talked about it a bit on Wednesday, I checked out Euphoria and I was like, dang it. Yeah. You don't even have to know what's going on, right? You don't even know. It's like watching a street fight on Twitter. You're like, I don't know why these two guys are fighting, but I know who won the fight. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what kind of fighting style this guy's using. And I certainly don't know why they're upset with each other. But one of them's done. One of them's on the ground and the other's not. Like you can tell, right? You don't have to know what's going on. You don't even have to know their names. You can tell who won. Hey, played Devil May Cry 5. It's very good. I would be so interested to see what I think about it now. I remember when I first played it, I didn't like how linear it was. But now I kind of like linear. I'm like, yeah, just, take me to the next thing. I don't think I still think to this date I wouldn't like the combo focus. I don't think I would like that. Yeah, I think that would still frustrate me. I like linear games now more than I used to. I don't need this big open world that has like a 40 to 50 hour completion time. I'm good. You give me to 25 to 30 hours, I've had a great time. Thanks. Got my money's worth. I'm out. Like, it's $10 now. I probably own it. I don't know where I played it, but I'm fairly certain that I probably own it. Yeah. So, I want y'all to know that we started early today with that premiere in this show. I friggin' skipped breakfast for y'all. So, I appreciate the appreciation today and the support because my stomach's growling, dude. Yeah, hey, Tarnished. We generally just don't care about that. It's just we don't pay any attention to it. A lot of people try to bring it to our attention, and so I'm just not concerned, It's not a big deal. Just what's going to happen when you exist on the internet, Fallen Order is weaker at the start, but I was disappointed in the ending of Survivor. Characters suddenly become dumb, and the last boss sucks. Yeah, I didn't like, there was a couple of fights in Survivor I was not a fan of. I still think the game is glitchy. When you fight the guy, I don't want to do spoilers. Let's just talk about when you fight the guy who also has the blasters. He a couple of times did stuff that didn't seem right. It was like, wait, was that supposed to happen? He had an attack where he would do like a swing and you would dodge to the left or the right and he would track you, swing. He would do it. It would like swing, swing, swing. And it was like projectile, projectile, projectile. And a couple of times I felt like it was a glitch or something. He would go 1, 2, 3. He would do all three right in a row. And it was like, what the heck? And you couldn't get, there was a couple of times where it was like, it would just instantly kill me. And I was like, it was really weird. The time where I beat him, he didn't do that. He like did it slowly. And most of the time he did it slowly, but there were a couple times I was like, is that an enrage mechanic? I was like, why is he doing that? It was super weird. And it was hard to know because the game was glitchy. It still had some issues. Cutscenes would act kind of funky. There was still pop-in. There was still some hitching here and there and some screen tearing, but I didn't notice it for the most part. But then stuff like that would happen. I'm like, I don't know why that's happening. It was really, really weird. I was Jedi Survivor and looking for a game to pick up. Tried Fallout 4 and it was very buggy. Survivor is much better than it was at launch. They fixed the performance issues. Yeah. They fixed the performance mode, I should say. It's not completely fixed, but it certainly is playable. I think they've largely walked away from the game, though, if I'm honest. When was the last time they even patched it on Steam? Let's see here. It currently has a 70% on Steam, so it has slowly improved over there. Yeah, they haven't updated the game since January. They did a patch in January. Patch 8. So I don't know what the status of it is now. A 70% is not that impressive, so I would say that's pretty embarrassing. I think EA and Respawn and Disney, I think they should all be embarrassed at the state of that game on PC. You know, one of the biggest IPs, one of the biggest publishers, and one of the most talented developers. I mean, what a freaking embarrassment that is. They were planning on bringing it to the old gen, Kirk. I don't know what happened with that. They haven't said a word about it. I don't know how in the heck they would do it. They had all kinds of issues, so I honestly couldn't tell you. What do you mean? A 7's good? Yeah, guys, you remember that debate? A 7's good, you know? So the fact that Jedi Survivor has climbed from its mixed 66 to a 70%, I mean, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. That's a good score. Any recommendations for a game to play through? I was even looking at FF16. It looks boring. Well, you'd have to tell me what you like. I don't know what you enjoy. I don't know. I'm assuming since you were considering FF16, you know, you have a PS5, you know? So, I don't know. If you play the Jedi games, start with Fallen Order. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's great Star Wars. Great Star Wars story. I bought Survivor on PC and it was unplayable. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly gotten better if it's got a 70, but yeah, it's pretty bad at launch. I mean, it was really bad. It's been out for an entire year. You know? It's been out for an entire year, and they just basically abandoned it. I mean, if they're doing anything with the PC version, they haven't said anything. That's a D to a C. Yeah, I'll take it. That's right. That's right. I noticed you left out 7 to 10 on the thumbnail today. Yeah. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC will be good. Yeah, it'll get a 7 out of 10. Yeah, for sure. Lego is supposed to release a set with a Ginger Jedi this year. Yeah, Cal, I think it was leaked that Cal Kestis has a Lego coming, so that's pretty exciting. I think that means we might see him show up in a TV show. I don't know. That seems like an interesting development. That the first game was popular and did very well. I don't think they did anything, right? Well, they did BD1. I guess that's not true. They did a BD1 figure, but then I think BD1 showed up in Mando. People didn't agree with me, but I'm like, no, I think that's BD1. She even calls him BD, right? Like, I know there's other R2 units in the games, but like, I'm sorry, in Star Wars, but did they call them do they nickname them the same way? Like R2D2 is lovingly referred to as R2 many times. Now they'll say this R2 unit and things like that, but I don't know. I still think that was BD. Seems too coincidental. Just, you know. I didn't get a good look at him, though, to see if he matched the color design or something. Definitely was not expecting Fallen Order to be that good. Yeah, Fallen Order was a huge surprise for a lot of people. It really, really was. I think if you're trying to get into Souls games, like if you've never played a Dark Souls game, if you've never played a FromSoft game, and you're trying to find a way into them, I think Jedi Fallen Order is a great start. if you can get to the point where like you're finessing those fights and feeling good, you've got an inroad. I honestly would go from Jedi Fallen Order to Survivor. I'll get pushback on this. People will disagree with me, but I think you would go from Fallen Order to Survivor right into Sekiro. That's what I think. I would skip Souls. I would skip 30 FPS Bloodborne. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd go right from Jedi to Sekiro. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even waste time with roly-poly Dark Souls. I'd go right. That's probably sacrilege to some people, but I would go right to the god. Go right to the goat. If you're wanting to play, and I know people are gonna be like, well, that's not a Souls-like. Well, it's a FromSoft game, and if you can master and really take enjoyment out of the parrying in Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, and Jedi Survivor, yeah, I'd go right to Sekiro. Go right to the GOAT. You could do what I did, though. You could go right from Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor right into Dark Souls 3 and then go to Sekiro. I think you could do that. What about the Demon Souls remake? I'm telling you, I went from Elden Ring to the Demon Souls remake, and I couldn't do it. It didn't feel good at all. I was like, this feels clunky. It feels dated. So much of the difficulty and challenge is centered around, you got to go all the way back now. That's not my vibe, dude. Elden Ring really spoils the player. It really does. You axed out like 5 great games. Bloodborne's 30 FPS. That's a non-starter for a lot of people. Dark Souls 1 and 2 and Demon Souls Remake, I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you right now, the average player that's going to go from Jedi to those games is going to feel exactly what I'm talking about. They're going to be like, these are dated. They don't feel good. I'm just giving you my opinion. Anybody can give their opinion on the matter. Make your own recommendations. That's fine. I'm telling you right now. You go from the Jedi games to Demon Souls Remake or to Dark Souls 1 and 2, you're going to be like, this feels like dated, clunky, like you're not going to like it. You just aren't. I'm telling you right now. I got a pretty good instinct on these things. If they've never touched a Souls game up to this point, and you're trying to get them into those games through Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, I think you jump right to Sekiro. Bloodborne is the best you mentioned. It's a deal breaker, though. It's 30 FPS. Go to Dark Souls 3 at 60 FPS, still feels really good. I would be open to that. That's what I did. I went from the Jedi games to Dark Souls 3 to Sekiro to Elden Ring. I can't go back now. I tried Demon Souls Remake, and I was like, I don't like this at all. It just doesn't. It did not feel good. It didn't feel good. Kirk says, hot take, but Liza P feels better to play than Bloodborne in 2024. I don't know if that's a hot take. It's not a 30 FPS game. It's an objective fact. A 60 FPS game is always going to feel better to play than a 30 FPS game, especially if you're coming from Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. I cannot imagine going from those two games to going and playing a 30 FPS game. I can't imagine it. No. I would make me sick. Absolutely not. And I know that's sacrilege to the From crowd, but I don't care. Okay, so the Hellblade 2 recommended specs have come out. High 1440. It doesn't say frames per second anywhere on here, does it? Higher frame rates or resolutions can be achieved through the use of DLSS3, FSR3, and XESS. So I'm probably going to be able to land at a 1440-60. They're saying for medium 1080, you can have a 2070, and they're saying high 1440, you could do a 3080. I could probably do 1440 and just turn some things down. Wouldn't 30 FPS make Souls games more difficult? It would if you were used to 60. Yes. It would. If you were used to 60 frames per second and you tried to go play Bloodborne at 30 FPS, 100% it would make it more challenging for you. It would make it hard. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It's Sony's fault. There's no excuse for not patching the game for PS5. It's not a matter of patching the game. This guy's leaving a comment on my upload. He says, I subbed to your channel and joined because of your Elden Ring streaming, ready to step back into the lands between with Reforge. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Bill High Wind. Thank you very much, dude. Appreciate you guys. That upload, if you guys haven't watched it yet, be sure to circle back and give some love to that premiere. We did a little change of formats today, so that premiere went live and not everybody was kind of expecting it. So I went from Jedi Fallen Order to Elden Ring to Dark Souls Remake to Dark Souls 3. It felt good to me. Can't do Bloodborne. I mean, I may be speaking out of turn on Dark Souls Remake, the Dark Souls 1 remake, okay? I may be speaking out of turn there. I played the Demon Souls remake, and it felt so bad after playing Elden Ring. It felt terrible. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful, it's a great-looking remake. It felt terrible. I didn't like it. It felt clunky and slow. I didn't feel like I could do anything. I felt like I was running and rolling through sludge compared to Elden Ring. I'm jumping in Elden Ring. I'm rolling better in Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring, I think that's just a natural, that's a metamorphosis that I can't undo in my brain. I can't like say, oh, let me reverse engineer my brain so I don't feel this way anymore. Yeah, the Demon Souls remake on PS5. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Insomniac Black says, for me, I always was that guy that would mod Souls games and lower the difficulty so that I could play them. 9 months ago, vowed to myself that I would beat Sekiro without any mods. Took mine 9 months, but I did it. Yeah, I mean, that right there just shows you how tough Sekiro is for some people. You know, it's tough. I feel like I went through Sekiro, rather quickly, but, everybody's journey's different. It's a weird take. I'm not going to lie, but the core game is older. It's not a take. It's not a take. It was my experience. It felt clunkier. A take would be, it's bad, it's trash, don't play it. I'm saying, if you come from Elden Ring or Fallen Order or Survivor, I think you're going to, I'm making a prediction. I think you're going to have the same experience that I had. I think it's going to feel clunky to you. I'm not saying it's bad or trash. Like, that would be like a hot take, right? Like, I'm not doing a hot take. I'm saying, I think you're going to have the same experience I had. I just think it felt so clunky. It felt like I was moving and rolling through sludge. I don't know what it was. I couldn't put words to it other than the words that I am now. Any opinion equals a take? Well, I don't think so. I think saying this was my experience and I'm predicting that you would have the same experience. An opinion would be, I think the game is bad. I think the game is good. If I tell you I played it and it felt clunky to me, that's just expressing an experience. I don't think that's the same as an opinion. It just needs to do, Sony just needs to do a 60 FPS patch for Bloodborne. There's no excuse. Oh, I was going to respond to that. No, you're not correct about that. You've either not properly researched it or you're ignoring the research. You can't just patch Bloodborne to 60. People have looked into it. People have done it. And it messes with stuff. The game, the animations of the enemy, damage output, iframes, damage, damage input that you receive. No, it messes the game up. It can cause all kind of glitches and oddities. It's kind of like when Horizon Zero Dawn came to PC and like different facial and clothing animations were glitching out because they were literally built around 30. So you can't just patch Bloodborne to 60. The guys that have modded it to 60, it creates all kind of weird stuff in the game. It's not as simple as just patching it. A lot of people have said they'd have to rebuild. It would be a remake, essentially. They'd have to rebuild the way all of the animation sets operate for the character, for the enemies, the way that damage and iframes works. Like, all of that would have to be rebuilt. So you may have just not researched it, but a lot of people have thought that, and then the people that have modded it and researched it, they're like, yeah, it's not as simple as just giving us more frames. I think there is a Bloodborne remake coming. I think the reason that we've heard remaster, remake, I think the reason it's never shown up is because I think they were working on a remaster, and then the Bloodborne remake, I believe they were working on a remaster, and then the Demon Souls remake did so well and got such great reception. I think they pumped the brakes and said, we need to do that level of remake from Bloodborne. I think that's what happened. That's my theory as to why we kept hearing about a Bloodborne remake or remaster and it never came out. That's also why I think a lot of the insiders about Bloodborne, they seemingly have different information, right? Like one guy heard about the remaster and then a couple years later, another guy heard about the remake and their info seems to be in conflict. I think that's why I think they initiated plan A was let's do a remaster, and then the Demon Souls remake happened and they said, whoa, that's what we want to do. That's far superior. He's correct. You can't just force 60 into a game. I played 60 FPS version of Final Fantasy Dissidia. It caused all kinds of funny issues with enemies getting stuck midair. Eugene says people modded it and it was terrible, and then they spent a ridiculous amount of time to iron all the issues out. We have no idea what Bluepoint has been working on, so it would make sense. I wouldn't be surprised, Kirk, if they handed the project to Bluepoint and said, do it again. Like whoever was doing the remaster, or maybe it was just maybe the remaster was just greenlit and they were in like pre-production, and then Bluepoint did what they did and they said, oh, whoa, we need to hand Bloodborne to them. They need to do it. They did such a good job with Demon Souls remake. We want another remake of that caliber. I don't know when it would show up though. Yeah, it was my understanding what Infinite is saying. I believe that that's true. It was my understanding that we don't actually, that Bluepoint is working on their own game. I don't think a Bloodborne re-release is ever coming. Anything Bloodborne is like a meme in the leaked subreddits. No, I actually think it's happening. Yeah. I think Sony is the one doing it. That's why when you ask like Miyazaki about it, he's excited that so many people are wanting it and asking for it, but no. I think it's out of his hands. Game development is interesting. I never have thought increasing FPS would cause problems. Yeah. In some games, the DPS, the damage per second of a given weapon, is tied to the frames. So if there's suddenly more frames, it will cause everything to mess up. You're suddenly doing way more damage than you're supposed to. Or it's causing glitches. It's not registering properly, or you're taking too much damage. There's all kinds of things that could come from it. Yeah. Sony's just biding their time. I don't think they're biding their time. I think they want to do more than just a 60 FPS patch. I think they want to do a Bloodborne remake at the caliber of the Demon Souls remake. A remake is different than a 60 FPS patch or a remaster. I think it's going to be significantly more than that. The Bloodborne remake will launch for the PS5 Pro, similar to how Demon Souls remake launched with the PS5. I was literally just thinking that, Hadigan. I think that's a pretty good prediction. I do. Guys, take a second and smash that like button. We kind of had to throw this stream on our back because it was a little out of the ordinary. So we got like mixed reception. There is another show coming. I'm doing a show in about 30 minutes with Mike about what's next for Fallout. Okay? I hope to see a bunch of you there. And I hope to see a bunch of you tonight. You guys hit the goal. I got to play the Crab Souls game tonight. Now, you can make it worse. You can make me fight Mohg. But that's going to be a tough goal to hit. You got 35 minutes to you got to basically triple what's over here. It's a stretch goal. No worries. There's still a stream tonight either way, and we'll play the crab game. That's actually my preference. So I'm just letting y'all know that that's available to you. Also, let's hit 300 likes on the video. We'll have almost as many likes as viewers. That's super helpful when we do that. So take a second. Smash the thumbs up. You talking Fallout? Yes, the second show today is about Fallout. And later on today, if it's on your mind, go back and watch that premiere, that upload. We put a lot of time into that. It turned out really, really well. And it's not looking very hot because, sadly, I think we did it early and that might have hurt it. We've basically trained everybody to think that Fridays doesn't start until 10:45. So uploading that at 9:30 probably broke expectations. So if you think about it later today, go give that video a little bit of love. We would greatly appreciate that. I thought the creator said he wanted to do a remake next gen because he wants some kind of tech to deliver it the way he wants to. Another Crab's Treasure. Sorry, yes, I'll put some respect on that name. Sorry. Another Crab's Treasure. That's what we'll be playing tonight. Thank you very much. I feel like I remember reading that, Anthony. You watched it before this live stream. Thank you. Everybody that watched that video, if you hit like, if you left a comment, yeah, I appreciate you doing your part. Thank you very much. We have made a change, and those monologues go live as premieres, and I've been telling people, if you're part of the core audience and you really support this channel, whether you're gifting members, you lurk every day, or you got your own active membership, that is one of the best ways to help us right now, is just to watch that premiere every morning. If you can't watch it in the morning when it premieres, but you got to watch it later, that helps too. So thank you to everybody who has been doing that. That's super, super helpful to us. I wish Bluepoint could license their engine, because for other ports and remasters, they're wizards. Seeds says, are they different though? I mean, look at Tlu 1. They didn't change anything, just a cool paint job, no differences. And that, boys and girls, is called bait. I literally, as I was reading that, I was like, there is no way he thinks this. I was like, there's no way. There's no way Detective Seeds thinks it's just a cool paint job. That was one of the first times I realized that there were people that are such big fans of platforms that they'll just lie. Like, I think that was one of the first days I realized that this isn't, it's not like the debates that we used to have in Destiny, where people would get really passionate and they love the game so much they would sort of exaggerate, or they would overstate something. It was a completely different experience. I was like, no, people are just flat out lying. Like, they're staring straight faced at the differences and they're like, no, yeah, it's just a remaster. It doesn't look any different. It's like, oh, okay. We're not dealing with like a passionate fan of Destiny who's like exaggerating the Eververse. We're just dealing with a liar. Like, it's a very different lesson in debating. It's like, it's really hard to hack through the weeds of bad faith liars. It really is. It's really tough. It's like, you can't tell. You're like, do you actually think this? Like, are you nuts? Like, are you looking through like, cheese mesh? Like, what's going on here? Oh man, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yeah. Oh, you didn't say sorry, you just said couldn't help myself. That's fine. Seeds toy should not have put the last part right away. Yeah, he should have messed with me a little bit more. He knows better than to do that. It's hard to take the troll out of the troll. This is true. How do I buy Lono a 6-pack? Ever had a Narragansett lager? I have had a Narragansett. I like Narragansett quite a bit. There was a time where I drank that almost exclusively. We would go to a local pizza joint. We would go to Mellow Mushroom, and I would get the Louisville lager. Local lager. It was very tasty, very crisp. I loved it. And there was a time where they were out, and the guy said, have you ever heard of a Narragansett? And I tried it, and I never switched back. Nowadays, I still like a lager, but most of the time I'm having IPAs. And I didn't like them. I hated them. But I tried a couple that I liked and developed a palate for them. I don't think you can just dive headfirst into a real hoppy IPA. You'll be like, ugh. But I tried a couple hazies that were really good, and that's sort of my on-ramp. I still like Narragansett, though. I really do. How do you buy me a 6-pack? Well, usually what people do is they super chat. It's usually like they super chat like $15, and then they'll say, hey, get this. And then I'll like add it and have it delivered. That's typically what we do. There have been people that have recommended all kinds of stuff, and a couple of them I have not liked. So I appreciate the fact that someone bought me the drink, because sometimes I'm like, didn't like that one. I don't like some of the milk stouts that you guys have had me get. I'm not a fan of stouts. I feel like I'm drinking beer, chocolatey beer coffee or something, and it's not it doesn't go where I want it to go. It's like too thick and heady, and it's like I'm drinking milk. I don't like it. So can you? I have one question about beer there. Can you still get Fall City on tap? I don't know. I don't frequent enough bars to answer the question. We have like one restaurant that we really love, and I just get like a Modelo typically because of the food that we're getting. I get a Modelo, the dark Modelo. CEO of Helldivers saying, hey everyone, in regards to the account linking questions there too, please reference this. If you have any further questions, you can reach out using the contact PlayStation support at the bottom of the page. It's just a disaster. What a disaster. Hazy IPs are the Jedi Fallen Order of the IPAs. That's great. That's a good reference. That's so true. It really is. It's true. I think Jedi Fallen Order, it's like that's the catalyst to getting into Souls games, right? I really do believe that. I really do believe that. I believe it's Modelo Negra. I think it's A at the end. Yeah, I usually get that. You're invited to the Latino cookout. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so good. I get that with it's a Cuban restaurant. Ooh, doggy. I don't know what I get. Champiñones or something like that. Some pollo, and it's got mushrooms and this green sauce. Oh, that with a Modelo, you're set. Yo, Mile High coming in with the 5-bomb. Thank you so much, Mile High, for that support, taking us to 111. He's like, guys, the dream is alive. He's like, let's keep it going. Let's make this man play something hard. Have you ever had a Michelada? No, I have not had that. You just gained some points with Modelo Negra? I did. I gained some points. All right. All right. Let me ask this question, though. Let me ask this question. To those of you who might be from that culture, all right? I was gonna troll you and say Latinx, but I know you guys hate it, so I'm not. Anyways, do you put a lime in your Modelo? I think it's really good. I love a lime in there, man. It adds this real crisp, man. You get that with some plantain chips and some guac. Ooh, it's perfect. It's so good. It is so good. Excellent. I agree, but that's not much different than any other tech engine license out there. Oh, you guys are still talking about that. Estrella Jalisco with a lime. I've never had that one. Modelo's that? I like it. I think it's good. I mean, I'm always open to trying another one. I'll see if they have that on the menu next time. Gotta put salt and lime in the beer? Salt? Huh. Not in the dark. Maybe a Corona? Lono's just collecting his cookout invitations like Thanos. That's right. That's right, dude. Yeah. I've got two cookout invitations. Yeah. I think the next thing I want to set my sights on is an Irish wake. I think that's the next goal. Yeah. That'd be fun. Detective Seeds with a 10-bomb takes us to 121. It's still possible, chat. That stretch goal's within reach. You guys got 25 minutes, and Detective Seeds gets you a little bit closer. You butchered it. Cut his Spanish card up. Sorry, I'm trying. I didn't realize he was saying it. He was putting a Spanish beer in chat. Let me try again here. Estrella Jalisco. No? Jalisco? My Spanish is a little rusty. Sorry. I didn't realize what I was reading. You should say you're invited to the carnita asada. Really? Okay. Don't they produce Corona in the States now? Oh, I don't know. Jalisco? Lono's cooked. It's a little rusty. It's a little rusty. Sorry. Ha, not ya. Not ja. That's right. Ha. Like, yeah, you can remember it because of jalapeno. Yeah. Jalisco. Got it. Got it. Sorry. I'm out of practice. I'm out of practice. Cut me some slack. Estrella Jalisco. Stonespire coming in with... Wait, where were we? Did I add Stonespires yet? That's 2 singles. That takes us to 123. There we go. Stonespire might slow walk this all the way. Let's see. You don't like stouts, but how do you feel about Guinness, Smithwick's? I won't say no to one if someone's like just going to hand me one or buy me one. I'm not going to be like, no, like I'll have it, but it would not be my choice. I wouldn't fill my fridge with it, you know? All right, Stonespire takes it to 124. I'm going to owe you guys 5 more. This man doesn't quit. Thank you guys so much for the strong turnout today. A little bit of a change of format. We are going to do a show in about 22 minutes with Mike, so be sure to stick around for that as well. Let's go back to Spanish 101. Who got it? Right, I'm telling you. Drink Tecate, the working man's Mexican beer. I've never had that either. Fill my fridge. Fill my fridge. Fill my fridge. Fill my fridge. 125. There it is from Stonespire. Thank you so much. And Patrick Q is the agent of chaos and pushes us past 125. You guys are nuts. All right, there it is. 150. All right, I owe you guys another 5. Here it comes. Do not drink Tecate. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just read what's in chat. I have to switch my brain. Tecate. Sorry. Thanks for the gift. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, more negative Spanish points. I'm sorry. I'm just reading chat. Tech 8, yeah. Tech 8, like a Tech 9. They're like, is this man talking about guns? Tecate. Yo quiero. Would it be El Tecate? No, it would be un. Or una. Well, yeah, it would be un Tecate. I would like a, or I want a. T-Kate. Yeah, can I get a T-Kate? Gracias. They're like, oh my gosh, get this frickin' idiot out of here. Oh, it's the Bud Light of the Spanish world? Okay. All right. So then I'm probably pronouncing it correctly then. You might have cookout invites, but you're losing those siesta invites. I'll get there, Fuzzy. I'll get there. You just got to give me some time. You know, you got to give me some time. You got to let me shift gears. It's really hard to constantly read a barrage of English, you know? I mean, do you see what you guys write half the dadgum time? Do you see the Did you see the stupid stuff I have to read half the time? Working man's beer. Tech 8. Yo, SSJ Gohan with 23 months and a VIP, almost 2 years. Red badge, here I come. Thank you so much, SSJ Gohan. You the man. Probably owned by the same company. Oh, I mean, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, Jaggy. A lot of the times that is the case. You know, the stuff that you would think is some other company is the exact same company. You speaketh the goodeth English. That's right. Yeah, I can read what Kevin just put. He just put I'm fluent, okay? I can tell what he just said. I'm back in, boys. I know how to read. Oh, man. Looks like they just smashed the keyboard or dropped their phone. You can go to the cookout, just don't talk too much. My issue with it was there was a time where I could carry on a very basic conversation with somebody, but it's just like us, right? If someone's trying to learn English, we just naturally talk really, really quickly. I mean, at least I'm from the north. We talk very fast up there. So like I would talk to people and I'd be like, I'm good. And then they would just start going really, really fast. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. It would be too quick. Insomniac Black with a $5 super chat tip says, grand opening, grand closing on the invite. Don't worry, you can still get some Publix potato salad at our cookout. With the Publix mustard? Oh, so good. Lona likes soccer. Yeah, I do. I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it farther. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to meme their way out of that. That people, yeah. That situation's not going to resolve itself quickly. I think people are going to be ticked for a while. There's like foam in the chair coming out of the bottom of it. It'll be awesome. Just insist you're saying it right. And don't understand when people correct you. I met so many Mexican players when I played Little Big Planet. I'm all good with heh and ha. Lono hasn't earned the good potato salad. That's homemade with the egg in it. Madam can get the big plate, though, with the baked macaroni and cheese. What's this about? Why does she automatically get the big plate? Like, what in the world? I don't know. This sounds kind of fishy. I'm getting a little nervous now. With our daughter's egg allergy, though, she might say no. She might be like, no thanks, and then that's a real problem. Now we have a real problem on our hands. You said what? Allergy. Oh, man. What's up with Helldivers? Well, it isn't gonna resolve itself. No, yeah, it's just not gonna resolve itself. It's just gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. People can hand wave all they want and say, well, other games require it. Really? Other games require it 3 months after launch? Sure. Basically, they're going to require people to log in with their PSN or create a PSN to continue playing Helldivers on PC. And it's going over about as well as I predicted that it would. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is going to be terrible. They said it was a technical bug. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they told him it would be required. Yeah, sure. And how many people do you think paid attention to that? Right? Did you read the TOS of the last game that you loaded up? That you agreed to? Imagine a company does that. They give you a little warning screen when you boot up the game. You know, you click through it. You don't pay attention to it. 3 months later, they're like, oh, by the way, new policy. If you'd like to keep playing, you'd be like, excuse me? Like, well, we told you. We told you we were going to do it. So, smallest violin, poor babies. Yeah, I think the tribalism against PC players is probably the weirdest response that I've seen, given that they make up the largest portion of the Helldivers 2 player base. So, Sure. We'll see. We'll see how well this goes for a live service game that is player funnel dependent. Yeah, let's, go ahead. Go ahead. Make fun of them. Call them entitled. Call them crybabies. Say it's really easy. Ignore the fact that there are regions of the world that can't make PSN accounts. Sure, yeah. It'll be really good. It'll be really good for the live service funnel of the game. Mm-hmm. It's more important to make people log into the PSN. That's more important. Yes, it's more important to wag a finger in their face too when they complain about it. This is going to be great. PC players are so elitist. Yeah, but that's like saying that, PlayStation fans are all ponies. Like, a lot of the PC user base doesn't have a clue about any of this stuff. They don't pay attention to it. They install the game. They're not an elitist. They're not a PC master race. They're just loving playing Helldivers. And they're going to boot up the game and be like, what the frick, huh? Like, it's just a really, 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 really dumb idea. It was there on launch. That's not a compelling argument, and it's not a compelling argument. There's plenty of pop-ups and TOS things at launch and in games, and nobody reads them, and no one pays attention to them. So, yeah, good luck. Good luck saying, well, you didn't read the italics fine print down in the TOS. You didn't read this thing right here. Yeah, good luck with that. It's going to go swimmingly. What's going to happen? Everyone's going to not do the negative review bombing that they're doing now. They're all going to reverse course. They'll make a PSN, and they'll keep playing the game. Yep, they'll be like, yeah, it was there all along. Yeah, very compelling. Mm-hmm. We're talking about video gamers here. We're talking about people who play video games. And it's not going to go over well at all. It's got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a company do. It's stupid. It's stupid. And they're going to get the exact result that everybody's expecting. This guy says, that's weird. You can find that, but not this on your game page. Requires EULA, requires... Right, it says all that, right? It says all that on the Steam page. Sure. And guess what? Everybody is just going to buy the game and play it. Think about it. Nobody was required. They all got in and it wasn't required. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I got in and didn't have to do that. And then months later, you're going to be like, oh, now we're enforcing that. Yeah, their frequently asked questions page says, do I have to sign into PSN to play a PlayStation game on PC? And it says, signing into PSN is optional when playing a PlayStation game on PC. So, yeah. Welcome to trouble. That's what you're facing. This ain't gonna be. I'm telling you right now. You guys can all get smug and laugh and say it was there. Ha ha. PC Master Race. You bunch of whiny babies. That can be your response. You can respond that way. That's fine. This ain't gonna go over very well. It isn't. It's not. Especially when the PlayStation website literally says that you don't. Logging in is optional. And they're saying, well, but for our game, it's not optional, and it was right there on the page, but we didn't make you do it for the last 3 months as the game exploded in popularity. Out of the percentage of people that bought that game and have played that game, how many people looked and read that? Epic does it. Xbox does it, UB does it, EA does it, Sony does it, it's a problem. No. If this was in place day one, I would be saying exactly what you just typed. I would be saying plenty of games do this. This is standard practice. You do it 3 months later, after you've had unforeseen popularity. Do you know what I say you do? You take it on the chin and you say, we're not going to require that. We think it would be a really bad idea to suddenly enforce that on a meteoric game. We think that'd be dumb because it is dumb. It's stupid. You have a live service game. Live service games rely on a player funnel, and you are voluntarily damaging the player funnel for what? What's the point? You haven't done it for 3 months. It wasn't a problem for 3 months. What's the problem now? What's the issue? What's the problem? Why is it suddenly needed? It was in the game day one. Hasn't been required for 3 months. You can keep saying that. It has not been required for 3 months. This is quite literally going to take the game's momentum and shift it down an entire gear. You mark my words. This will be the beginning of that game's downturn on Steam. Right now, it's going to happen. Just write it down. Majority of the player base is there. You got a bright future ahead of you, and you're just going to absolutely give your game a flat tire. Now, will it recover? Probably over time, sure. Especially once they start doing, bigger and more exciting things again. They can have those viral moments one more time. This has got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a company do. You just take it on the chin. You just say, it's not needed. We're not going to do this. It was there day one. But it hasn't been a requirement since day one. People have been playing since day one, and you're suddenly telling them that they need to log in. You're suddenly telling them they need to do this thing. It won't do... Oh, yes, it will. You watch the Steam charts. You watch the review score. They're both going to drop. Just watch. If you don't think the Steam user base is a little persnickety and a little tribalistic, just wait. Just wait. Just watch what happens. Player count hasn't been affected at all? Oh, for Pete's sakes. It's going to take a while. The people that are already jumping in and playing are just going to immediately yeah, that's fine, I'll do it. Everybody else, though, you got to think about the large-scale player base they've amassed over the last 3 months. People aren't going to want to do it. They're like, I don't have a PSN account. Reviews already dropped? Yeah, who do you think's dropping the reviews? You think those people are just going to keep on playing? It's also going to affect momentum and sales. Yeah, it's dropped from an 82% to a 72%. Last 30 days, it's now 72%. You know how the Steam user base operates. It'll affect future sales. The Steam score will drop. People will see, oh, I have to do a PSN. I don't want to do that. And then they'll back out. Look what happened to Returnal day one. Returnal day one got lampooned by the fact that it installed Epic Online Services for co-op. And everybody thought that it ghost installed the Epic Game Store. And its review score got tanked day one. Because that's how the Steam user base reacts to stuff like this. They probably figured that the blowback from something like this far outweighed the benefits of enforcing the login. But what's the benefits of enforcing the login? I don't understand what the benefit is. Oh, hang on. All right. They're EULA. EULAs can be amended and changed. It boosts Sony's MAU. I don't know. I think it's a dumb idea. That's my opinion. I think justifying it by saying, oh, it's been there since day one, and people were warned about this. When a game is this popular, you have to know. You have to know that it's going to cause a bunch of disruption and irritation and problems. If it doesn't affect the Steam score, the Steam charts, I'll be freaking shocked right out of my chair. I've seen other games absolutely be. It hurts a game's reception. It really, really does when you have this type of thing. It 100% does. Steam user base, man, I'm telling you, they're freaking weird. They're weird, bro. They hate this kind of stuff. Now, the game is massively popular, so this isn't going to be permanent damage. They'll recover. They'll be just fine. People aren't just going to suddenly be like, well, I don't want to play. I don't think that's going to happen. But I definitely think in the immediate future, you're going to see it have an effect. You're going to see it have a negative effect on the score, and you're going to see it have a negative effect on the charts. It's just going to take time, because if enough people log in and say, I'm not doing that, it has to ripple out through the community. The most committed players are logged in right now playing. They don't even care. How do you know? I mean, there could be a percentage of players playing right now that have already done it with other PlayStation. Well, I don't think you have to do it with other PlayStation games. But there could be a portion of the player base that's like, well, I've already done that. That's not a big deal. They already have a PlayStation account. You have to account for all the people that don't have one. What game, what mechanic? Helldivers 2. Thank you, Alex, for the $5 Super Chat tip. Listen to what you just said there, Weird. Why dictate to the weird? It's about money. It's about the health of the game. It's about a player funnel. That trumps everything. You guys know I've said this before. Live service games play by different rules. They play by different rules. The player funnel is God. It's all that matters. It's why they won't take a break from doing war bonds to fix the game, because they know how much it impacts the player funnel. They know how much a new war bond impacts DAU and player engagement. You do something like this, it can really, really hurt things. You can't just like, oh, it's fine. It was in the thing. It was in the TOS. It was on the screen. Okay, you go right ahead, Turbo. You go right ahead. Telling you, live service games are different. It won't hurt the player funnel. I hope you're right, because in my estimation, it will. Things like this always cause issues. It's like the law of the universe that if you do something to that PC user base, you ask them to do something, oh, buddy. Especially when it requires them to log in with another account or do something, especially if they're out of the regions that even can do it. There are regions that can't even sign up for PSN, like Pirate Software pointed out, Thor pointed out. I don't want to make another account to play an effing game. So with this particular thing, F off, you're wrong. Murph Dog says, love you. The people that will quit over this would have never been part of the funnel at all. What are you I don't know. We're not seeing this from the same angle. We're not seeing this from the same angle. I think that's really presumptive. I think that's really presumptive to be like, yeah, they weren't going to be a part of the funnel and they don't care. Okay. All right. Hope you're... there's been a ton of freaking people that have been playing a dadgum game on Steam. Okay. Hope you're right. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, man?
What do you think is going to happen with this Helldivers thing, Mike? You think it's going to affect the PC player base at all? You think people are going to be like...
I literally was talking. I woke up this morning and I saw it happen, and I put a tweet with a couple people in my Discord. I was like, oh, this is not going to go over well. I was like, this is like... I personally don't care. I'll play, but there's a lot of people on the PC area that'll just be like, no, party's over. This is like throwing a party at your house and then someone showing up and going, all right, kids, I'm gonna hang out and just watch. And you'd be like, no, there's an adult here. We're done. This party's over. Right? That's it. It's like 3 months into the game. Why are you doing this now? Even though it was in the TOS, you're ruining people's fun right now. And the PC players are like, nope, peace out. We'll go play something else. Thanks for the fun for the 3 months.
Yeah, the debate right now is whether or not it will have an adverse effect on the player funnel, and they're like, no, the player funnel won't be even...
I think new people will just... The new people have never played it yet, they'll come in and they'll sign up and do whatever, right? Because they're new. But the people that have already been playing for 3 months that have to make an account, they'll be like, nah, I had a lot of fun. I'm just going to go play something else. I think that's what it is. I think that's what's going to happen. I know it sounds weird, but...
I'm having
Steam
a
players,
little,
man. They don't even want to click on Epic Launcher. They just want to click on Steam. You know what I mean? They don't want another launcher on their computer, let alone another account.
For sure. I have a little birdie telling me that some of this is about the data science and being able to crunch the numbers, right? Like they want to get a better beat on player behavior. Sure. And that's a lot easier to do when you have it connected like this.
I think the reason that Sony is doing it is so they can get more information, so they can have more info down the road when they want to launch more games on PC. There's a lot of stuff why they're doing this. It's not just they want to get your account. They want to get the data. Data's king, man. Data's information.
Well, yeah,
information makes the world go around.
Yeah, information is currency these days.
Yep.
100% a currency. So it's like. It's hard not to see it from both angles. It's like I get why Sony wants it. I get why it was there day one. But I also get why people are like, yo, what the heck, man? I haven't needed to do this for 3 months. And be like, well, it was there the whole time. It's like, yeah, but nobody pays attention to any of this.
This is just like any other company that like puts the DRM in afterwards. Do you know what I mean? They put like the that software in after the fact it launches. They don't put it in during the review process or at the launch, but then all of a sudden they sneak it in after the fact. Everyone's like, yo, what is this? Nope, not gonna do it.
Right. Kirk's saying he has friends that literally won't play Apex because you need an EA account. Yeah, I mean, there's people that just won't do it.
Let's go on, chat. Okay. And I know people will bring this up. They'll be like, well, Microsoft does this. Yes, everyone does this. EA does this. Ubisoft does this. Everyone does this. But it's usually before you play the game. You know what I mean? It's like you buy the game and you assign to it at the beginning, not 3 months into the thing. That's the issue I think a lot of people have.
Well, and people are like, it's on the screen, it's on the storefront, it's this and that and blah blah blah, right? But the thing is that if somebody doesn't see that and you're like, well, you should pay attention. Well, the beauty of it is when that surprises them day one, they can just refund it. They can say, oh, right. I don't want to do this, right? Yep. So they don't pay attention and they just buy the item, okay? Which I guess we could get paternalistic and wag our finger like, you should be a better consumer, but we all know consumers don't pay attention to that kind of thing.
That's right. You need to read the 19-page document in small print and scroll through it before you hit OK.
Right. I didn't know. I've gone to the Helldivers page numerous times to check the score and to check what people are saying. I didn't know that you needed to do this. Why? Because I don't pay attention to this kind of thing. So they get in, they don't need to do it, and they're like, okay, cool. And then 3 months later, it's like, no, you need to do this now or you can't play anymore. And it's like the optics on that, you can't make the optics on that good. You just can't. It just, well, we told you. It just sounds very like, I feel like I'm being talked to by like the principal of a high school or something.
Right.
You know?
You ever been at an event, you have alcohol in your hand and you happen to pass the line and everyone's drinking around you. There's a couple of people drinking, but you're past that point of where alcohol should be. Mm-hmm. And then someone comes up to you and says, they just come up to you and they're like, hey, you can't drink here. And you're like, well, what do you mean? We've been drinking here for the last 5 hours. Everyone's here, and now you're telling me we can't drink? You're like, yeah, go screw yourself. And you walk away. You're like, I'm done. Right? It's just that bad taste that leaves in people's mouths. That's all. And it really isn't a big deal, but it is a big deal for the people that have been playing for 3 months. That's all.
Right. And people are saying, it would have been there all along. Yep. And the people that don't like something like this could have uninstalled and got a refund and said, I don't want to do that, right? That's the issue, is they're now outside the refund window. And it's like, listen, I'll be honest. I'm always on the side of the player in situations like this. And I'm like, you know what? I think Steam should honor refunds for anybody that wants one at this point, if that's their reason. If they're like, listen, I don't want to create a PSN. I wasn't required to make a PSN at the beginning. I know it said that, but I've been able to play for 3 months. And I think people should be able to get a refund at this point and be like, I do not want to do this. As a consumer, you let me get past this for 3 months, and now you're trying to pull up the drawbridge. No, thank you. I think people should have a right to do that as a consumer.
Nikki in your chat, is that how you say it? Nikki, 30's loving this. He hates Sony too. That whole sentence is literally bullshit. What you just said.
That's so dumb. Like, you guys that tune in every Friday, like I said this the other week. I was on, I had Kirk on. Like, I have people on who see things from a different angle than me or have different opinions than me. Like, I feel like sometimes you guys, you're so antagonistic to other views because we've been attacked quite a bit. Like, you guys got to settle down. These are friends of mine that I have on the show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's literally a PlayStation right there.
He's
got
and a
PlayStation here and a PlayStation there. I just don't have a PlayStation 5, and we've already gone over this, so I don't need to repeat myself.
They received a pop-up every time they played. I lack empathy for this. What was the pop-up every time? Was it just like that preliminary thing that you can click through in most games? I mean, that's the problem is, again, I'm not saying players were uninformed. I'm saying this is a destructive decision. I just think it's so late to the party. You take it on the chin. This is a corporate level decision, by the way. This is a Sony decision.
Yeah, it's a Sony decision.
It's a Sony decision. And because of that, I think you have to look at it from that perspective of this is not for the health of the game. Cut the crap. That's not why you're doing this. Help us to block and ban. Shut up. That's not why you're doing it. It's a corporate level decision for data. That's what it is. Call it what it is. Well, it was there every day. It was in the Steam page. Okay, well, watch the score plummet. I bet you it has a negative effect on the player funnel. And that's my thoughts on it. So I'm going to take a quick break. You guys can keep talking to Mike for a second, and then we're going to switch gears. Do me a favor. Smash that like button. We only need 70 more likes. Let's try to hit 300 likes as this video ends, and then we're switching gears to a Fallout stream, all right? So thanks for all the support today. Very different Friday, but huge support on the member count. And that stretch goal is still available to you. If we're probably not going to hit it, and that's fine. We're going to play the crab game tonight. Another Crab's Treasure, all right? So I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Old Dad Gaming, you're welcome. Data is information, and water is wet as well. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I double down on the same word twice. It means different things. You're welcome. What's going on, Patrick? People say console gaming is changing. Whatnot. PC gaming is going to really change. Like this thing happens every single time a company does this with any kind of information they change on PC. It's just weird. It's 3 months afterwards, and then they're making the change. Most people won't have a problem with this, but a lot of people will. Yeah, it will probably be like that with Ghost of Tsushima as well. Nikki, I like that you do that though, right? I like when people say something, and then when I say something back to them, they're like, "I was just joking, dude. I was just joking." You know, they make kappas and stuff in chats. I think Lono has one. The Discord and stuff, I think it's funny. I mean, he tweeted something, it's his opinion, and everyone's running with it like it's gold, which it might be, but the fact that we don't know and people are running with it, but that's news. That's the news segment in 2024. I mean, he has credibility though, right? He's a person in the industry. So when he writes something like that, people take it for what it is because he has inside information, he knows certain people. So even if he's just his opinion, he's got to make it more clear when he tweets like that. Momo the cow. Yeah, they obviously Sony is going to get more. I mean, obviously they already had their games over on PC with God of War, Spider-Man, stuff like that. They want more information, right? Because they're going to make that switch. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but PlayStation is going to put more games on PC faster than they have been, especially the live service games and aspect like that. So they want this data because it gives them it gives them more information for them to figure out what they're going to do in the future with their other games and whatnot, with other live service games. This is why all the companies do it. No, he said it on a podcast, Vandal. He said it on a podcast, and then he tweeted out, or he replied. I think he replied to somebody. What's going on, Argus? That's a possibility, Ant. Get him in the account already, and then with the first-party titles that come out, perhaps. What'd you say, Derek? I think the more data that they have is in regard to better. Just think that they could also continue as is. Evaluate the two PSN players versus anonymous players. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're putting it into Helldivers to get more information off the player base of Helldivers. I think they're putting the information in to find out what, I don't know what that is specifically, but they'll know how long they've been playing. I mean, they know that information now a little bit, I guess, but they would have more information for Sony, right? They link their account. They know what kind of games they're playing. They know what type of stuff they're. So when they're moving to more live service games in the future, or their first party titles, they'll know that that's what this information, I believe, is for. This is why they're doing it.
Yeah, live service games are so valuable to a company when there's a consistent daily active and monthly active user. Like, it's just so valuable. That data it serves so many other purposes.
Here's a beautiful thing, right? So I live in Florida, right? I live in the Orlando area, and we have a lot of theme parks and stuff. Disney years ago made the Magic Band, right? The Magic Band where if they told you they were tracking you, right, you would be like, hell no, I don't want you to track me. But they let you buy a $25 bracelet with, characters on it and whatnot. You can easy pay for your hotel and your food. But they also know when you park and you have that bracelet on, the sensors know how long you've been at the shops in their Disney Springs. They know how long you were in the shop for. They know the pattern of where you're walking because of the data on the thing. Like, you're literally information walking around, and they find out, okay, people stopped in this area. We need to add a garbage can. People need more seats, so this is where they add more seats. This is where traffic flows through. Let's put a food stand there, right? They use all this information to figure out more things without even you knowing. They're just like, oh, it's a cool bracelet. It's got Donald Duck on it, and you're fine with it.
That's right. Okay, guys, we are going to shift gears. I want to know what he thinks and what you think about the future of Fallout and everything else that's going on. Take a second, unlurk, smash like. There's plenty of people here. There's over 300 people here. And then we're going to go over to the new stream. Make sure we go over to the new stream. You guys smash like there as well. I'm going to spam a link in chat. That is where we are headed. So do me a favor. Head on over there. And thank you, Melrose Mike, for 39 months of members. I missed that. We were shifting gears, and I got in a rant. So thank you so much, Melrose Mike, for 39 months on a VIP. So click the link in chat, or you guys can ride the redirect. Thanks so much for checking out this video, where every week on Friday in the afternoon, I sit down with my friend 30 and So Gaming, and we're going to talk about what's next for Fallout. There is a lot to discuss. I kind of already debated Fallout 5 this week with my audience, kind of saying it's needing to leave Bethesda behind, and I think Microsoft's going to agree with me on this. I'm going to get Mike's opinion on that, as well as everything else going on with Fallout 76 and Fallout 4 and the Fallout TV show. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button. I'm going to end the previous stream that was about the Elden Ring DLC and bring everybody over with a redirect. Mike, thanks so much for being here, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
And we did a show about,